Cool. Well, we got a good group, so let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. Again, thank you all so much for joining our webinar today. Like I just said, my name is Reagan, and I'm the product marketing manager here at Wodify. I'm very excited to introduce Ben Parents from the TrueMed team today. Ben has been instrumental in helping fitness businesses like yours unlock the potential of HSAs and FSAs, making fitness as preventative healthcare more accessible to your clients, therefore driving growth and retention at your businesses. So today, Ben's going to share how you can offer this at no cost to you, to your clients, and he'll even provide you with all the resources needed to promote this benefit and help your members understand how they can take advantage of these savings. So make sure you stay till the end for a live Q&A session with Ben. All right, before we jump all the way in, a few things to know before we get started. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see the chat, Q&A, and reactions tab. For chat, feel free to use that space to interact with us and other owners on the call. And for Q&A, you can submit questions through there throughout the webinar, and we will answer those at the end. All right, with that, I'm going to pass it over to you, Ben.
All right, so we're not gonna read every word off of this screen, but we're gonna get into everything from the TrueMed mission and vision. But just to quickly start about why are we doing this now? I think the Wodify team's done a great job of timing this up to get kicked off around two major milestones in the year. The first being open enrollment. So many of you may have gotten benefits emails from your employers or your insurance companies. Basically, this is when people are making their contributions for their HSA and FSA. So they're effectively planning out their 2025 healthcare costs. So the fact that we're launching now means they can do that with you in mind. And then the second one is that FSA funds actually expire at the end of December. So if you don't use them, you lose them. So a really great way to drive some urgency around this issue. So awesome that we are launching now. I guess quick overview at the top, we are the leading HSA FSA payments vendor in the space. We work with over 500 individual brands, but we work with CrossFit, and I know many of you are CrossFit franchisees, and we work with over 800 gyms at this point, and then over 300,000 actually customers have gone through the TrueMed payment flow. Awesome. So just to dive in a little bit to the vision. HSAs and FSAs are interesting accounts, and we'll get into that a bit in the next slide. But the vision of this company is to basically redirect healthcare dollars to non-pharmaceutical interventions. Many of you may see either of our founders, Callie Means or Justin Mayers, recently just really promoting this idea of moving from a world of reactive to proactive healthcare. So if someone could use their healthcare dollars for something like a gym membership, would they be better off and then therefore not need to use it for something like a prescription or a doctor's visit, et cetera? So that is really our goal, is we're hoping to transform the health space by allowing people to basically advocate for themselves and overall advocating for a more productive healthcare system. So just to kind of get down to what are these accounts exactly? They're very similar to each other. A few differences being that FSA funds expire and HSA funds roll over to the next year. But you can kind of think of them as a kind of like a 401k for your health. So they're sponsored by your employer. HSAs are associated with the high deductible health plan. And basically, before players like TrueMed, these funds were just earmarked for things like contact lenses or sunscreen or doctor's visits. So you could go to a pharmacy and swipe your HSA or FSA card and buy one of these pre-approved items and be completely fine. No other paperwork or administrative work needed. They are a pre-approved expense under kind of previous HSA and FSA guidelines. What we are doing, what TrueMed is doing, is in kind of this new paradigm of HSA, FSA spending, where we unlock more proactive forms of health, like exercise, for example. So we'll go into exactly how we make that possible, but just wanted to kind of give an overview of what these accounts are for those who may not know. Awesome. So how does this work, and kind of what's the catch here? So HSAs and FSAs are pre-tax dollars that you put away each month from your paycheck. And what TrueMed does is we provide what's called a letter of medical necessity. So I just went over that before TrueMed, you could use these funds for contact lenses or sunscreen without a letter of medical necessity. But for these proactive forms of health, things that are not typically approved, the IRS basically states that Exercise, for example, does count as a qualified health expense if it is accompanied by what's called a letter of medical necessity. From here on out, it's called an LMN. You'll see that written down a bunch. So with this LMN, it's basically a doctor's note that says, Ben has X condition and a CrossFit membership will help him either treat, mitigate, prevent, or reverse that condition. So those are kind of the 4 words: treat, mitigate, prevent, or reverse. And if I have this letter, that means that I can use these dollars for things other than sunscreen, contact lenses, those kind of pre-approved items that we went through. And basically what we do is we unlock the ability to use these pre-tax dollars. So there is a huge advantage for using pre-tax dollars, which we'll get into in a second. But this is kind of the flow. So you put away the money, you get a letter of medical necessity through TrueMed, and then your spending is unlocked. So why is this important? Pre-tax dollars are not subject to state, federal, or local tax. So you see an average of around 30% savings. This is a little diagram that you can take a look at, but basically you're actually spending the $100 versus if you were to put these $100 away just through your normal savings account or from a paycheck, it's getting taxed, depending on your tax rate, between 30 and 40%. So some of your clients and members will see higher than a 30% rate, but 30 is kind of the average, and it's kind of what we recommend marketing. This letter of medical necessity is good for 12 months. We'll go into the step-by-step process on how your clients and members will obtain one. But once they have it, it is good for a year. It is a quick process that they go through once, and then they just will renew at the end of that year. So how is this as a business owner important to you, and how will this help you at the end of the day benefit your overall bottom line? And these are just a few kind of value drivers that I wanted to highlight. So from the consumer standpoint, if I put away this money and I know it's pre-tax and it is sitting there, I have a much higher likelihood to spend. People say, that feels like free money or it feels like discounted money. It is cheaper money in a sense because it has not been taxed. So we work with a ton of different supplement brands, fitness brands, and overall we see increases in average orders. So you have the ability to upsell maybe a package of classes, maybe someone who's a little bit price sensitive. If they know they can use these dollars, for a longer term package that is more expensive, they will do so. A great way to retain people longer. I'm sure many of you get people who will maybe do 2 or 3 months of a membership and then drop off. This is a great way to let them know that they can use these dollars for that. And then re-engaging anyone who's maybe churned. So sending out an email to your members who quit because of cost, just letting them know, hey, did you know that you could spend your HSA FSA dollars and save up to 30%? So really good driver there as well. Awesome. So let's get down to kind of the mechanics behind this and how it works. So just to say, the number one asked question is, can my members use an HSA or FSA card to purchase? The answer for this, for the time being, is no, which is a benefit for you because their payment method is actually completely unchanged. The card they have on file with you can continue to get charged. They are just going to add one step to the process of purchasing, and that is going through this health evaluation. So as I mentioned, in order for them to unlock this spending, they need to receive the LMN. How do they receive the LMN? They go through a 2-minute health evaluation that basically asks them, do they have any conditions that they're trying to, again, prevent, reverse, mitigate? And at the end of that survey, they have the option to pay for their LMN. So it is $20. It is good for 12 months. And once they pay for it, 12 hours later, they receive the letter from TrueMed. So we email it to them. It is a document that is customized to them, and that is what allows them to submit for a reimbursement. So they pay you as they normally would. They go through this health evaluation. They receive their receipt from you, their invoice from CrossFit or whoever it is. And then they take their receipt and they take their LMN and they submit it to their HSA or FSA administrator for reimbursement. They are typically reimbursed between 2 and 3 days. I actually personally just went through this process, and I think I got direct deposited in about 36 hours. So depending on the administrator, it's typically less than 4 to 5 business days. How does this work for you? So this is the part of the process that will be geared towards the business owners themselves. So after this, we have not pushed this live yet, but we will today, of a link specifically for the Wodify partners. So this is the only step that you'll need to go through. You put in your company name. If you are a CrossFit gym, there is a slightly different sign-up flow just because we are already partners with CrossFit. So we have a specific sign-up flow for them. So just put in your business name. If you're a yoga studio, Los Angeles Yoga will suffice. And if you're a CrossFit, please include CrossFit name because we'll push you to a different sign-up flow. Upon signing up, you will receive marketing materials and the qualification link to promote. So the qualification link is just this link to the health survey. So this is what you're going to promote to your clients, your customers. If one of them is interested in HSA, FSA reimbursement, you will just give them your unique link. The link is unique to your business. So upon signing up for this, you will be pushed to your own portal, and you'll be signing and you'll be able to see the link there. Again, there's no cost to you. The client needs to pay $20 for the letter of medical necessity, but because they're saving up to 30%, they quickly pay themselves back for this. So this is really just more of a marketing play for you guys to ensure that this is top of mind. You're putting it at as many touch points as you can, but it really is a win-win. Which leads us into marketing best practices. Just some quick principles, like be direct, be repetitive, get creative. Seems very straightforward. If you were to take anything away from this presentation, I would say hopefully it's number 2. People really do fall into these like 2 main buckets I've learned, which is they have an HSA, FSA account, and they actually don't even know that they're contributing to it. So they got an email at some point from their HR leader and they kind of just clicked through and they signed up for an HSA. And they're, even if it's $25 or $50 a month, it's getting, pushed into this account and they don't know that they actually have this pot of money to spend. That's the one group. And then the second group is people who actually do know they had these accounts, but don't know that they can spend them with you. So they're waiting until the end of the year and then they're buying $800 worth of sunscreen, which you would be surprised how many people do that. So it really is on you guys to get in their head as many times as possible. We are accepting HSA, FSA payments. This is a great thing. It's really something to be proud of and to show that you're investing in the long-term health of your members and your clients. I guess before we go into this, some of these channels may apply to some of you guys, others may not. So just take that with a grain of salt. Realize not all of you will have like individual websites or things like that, but hopefully there's something here for everyone. So the first one, if you have a website, we highly recommend a banner. This is specific very much to like our e-com brands that we work with. But if you do have a website, there's no harm in putting like a little, save up to 30% with TrueMed, just, making sure you're catching people as soon as they hit the homepage. A step further would be a homepage feature. So we recently launched with Barry's earlier this year and they did a great spread on their homepage. Same thing with Core Power. And CrossFit in the past has also done this on their main corporate page. So great way to do this if you have the resources. Highly recommend kind of shouting this from the rooftops. Staff resources. So realize that many of you will want to just not promote this online and instead just have it in studio, which is completely fine. We have resources to send for flyers. You can turn that health qualification link into a QR code. So happy to provide those resources as well. Social is a huge one. I'm assuming at this point, everyone on this call, if you are in this world, has some sort of social presence. That fitness and social kind of go hand in hand at this point. So we really see the most traction with this. So every single brand that we work with has some sort of HSA, FSA social presence, especially end of year. We're getting a ton of, Black Friday sales, HSA, FSA, use it or lose it, things like that. So if you have any sort of link in bio, highly recommend putting this link there. Again, there's no harm in putting this in a link tree, and just doing either an influencer post, a static post, running ads, whatever your kind of take on social is. Finding a way to incorporate this will definitely go a long way. And then goes without saying, but emails are a very helpful way, depending on the size of your email list. Especially end of year, just hitting people, subject line of save an average of 30%, really catching people with that, quantitative, eye grabbers is pretty helpful as well. And then lastly, kind of ties back to the value drivers that we went over, in the beginning. but would recommend crafting emails based on the cohort of person that you're trying to target. So if these are people that have churned due to cost, a re-engagement email, some sort of rejoin call to action would be super helpful. A seasonal email. Black Friday is a huge day for the HSA FSA world as well. If you think about it, people are running sales. I'm not sure if there's any sort of promo or kind of combo package you guys are doing, but being able to pair a sale with an HSA pre-tax option feels like a double sale to the consumer. So if that's an option for you, I highly recommend it. And then any sort of like footer or permanent CTA at the bottom of an email, just to, again, really hit people as many times as possible. And that brings us to the end. We are going to do a Q&A, but as far as presentation goes, that wraps it up.
Awesome. Thank you, Ben. That's a lot of really good information. We have a lot of questions coming in. I think one that would be great to start with for you, Ben, is we have some customers who are already signed up with TrueMed, but they did it prior to our partnership with you. Should they update their partnership or make any changes on their end? How does that work?
Yeah, so if you're already signed up, you have your unique qualification link. There's nothing else for you to do except continue to promote it. So no need to sign up again.
Okay, awesome. And then you made the recommendation to throw some information on websites about this savings benefit. And so I think we had, sorry, some of these got into the chat. So I lost who sent that question in. Erica. So Erica, yes, our sites team can absolutely help you get this information on your site. So please feel free to reach out to support@wodify.com and we will connect you with that team to get the information on your website, whichever pages you prefer it to be on. All right, let's see what else we got. So looks like Ben Omar may have had some issues with the link we sent out. And again, everyone, I'm sending the link Ben was referencing to sign up. I just sent it again in the chat. So that should be where you go to sign up.
And if you do, just to flag this, if you do have any issues, our support team is best in class and we'll help you out. So the one thing is, as far as when you do go through the sign up flow, I would just recommend giving it like a half a day because we have an approval process at our end. We'll just internally approve your business. So if it's not happening right away, no worries. But of course, feel free to give us a shout if there's like any ongoing issues. And then one other thing I wanted to flag is this knowledge base here, which has a ton of resources on like how to build your own landing page, email templates, social media templates, things like that. So there's actually a search bar and you can kind of type in any question and something will come up.
Okay, great. So it might take up to a day for them to get that unique code. Okay, great. That's good to know. We have Stephanie here who's been with TrueMed for a while now, but is looking forward to receiving some new marketing materials. Is there a way without signing up through that link we could provide those marketing materials?
Yeah, so I would take a look at that support knowledge base. It has a full kind of marketing merchant guide, which I would look at. If there's anything specific that you think would be helpful, like we're always open to refreshing these. So feel free to shoot me a note or our support email a note, and can definitely brainstorm with our team.
Okay, awesome. And then we had some questions about just the ease of qualification. So Rob asked, does everyone qualify for the LMN or are some people excluded based on their health questionnaire responses?
Yeah, great question. So no, not everyone is qualified. That said, the 4 words of prevent, reverse, mitigate, or cure, everyone is typically falling into that bucket, right? Like everyone is trying to prevent something or reverse something. Although not everyone is qualified, we have an over 98% approval rate for fitness specifically, which is what we would bucket this as. And if someone for some reason like goes through the health survey and doesn't answer any questions, they will not get qualified. We have a team of licensed practitioners that are reviewing each of these submissions and then putting using their license to generate these letters. So there is definitely integrity to the process and not kind of everyone getting through.
Okay, good to know. Let's see. Oh, Crystal's asking. So Crystal had somebody opt in for TrueMed's benefits, and he wanted to prevent obesity and was denied. He then resubmitted for preventing depression. She's curious about just the difference between these two, like qualifying conditions and prevention, and are there specific conditions that are more likely to be approved in this process?
So I'm not able to speak exactly to like what is more approved than others. That said, our support team are like HSA, FSA administrative experts. They actually, and something worth mentioning is that if for some reason someone is denied, which does happen by depending at the end of the day, the HSA and FSA administrators have the final say in this. If there is a denial, our team will work to overturn that denial several times. And if for some reason and their overturn rate is very high, but if they cannot, we actually offer a TrueMed warranty. So we will pay the customer the amount that they would have saved by using TrueMed. So that is something that we will execute on our end, but just wanted to flag that.
Awesome. Crystal wants to know who they should be reaching out to if they run into any issues with the approval.
That'll be support at TrueMed.
Support at TrueMed. And Ben dropped that in the chat just a minute ago. If you want to scroll up, that should be there for you. All right. Kuiper says, if they sign up now and they have HSA credits, can they get reimbursed for membership fees retroactively before they got the letter?
Great question. The answer is no. So this is for all forward-looking purchases. So the letter of medical necessity will be dated, and then they are also getting to get an invoice from you or a receipt from you, depending on how they pay. The LMN date needs to be before the receipt date. So if I purchase something in August, like a CrossFit membership in August, I could not reimburse it today. There's a little bit of a wiggle room, like 2 to 3 day wiggle room. If for some reason, like I know there's a lot of brands that will use this as part of their sales process. So the receipt will be predated the LMN. It's okay if it's a couple of days, but we don't recommend marketing that you can retroactively reimburse it.
Okay, that's good to know. And I think you mentioned earlier why this is a perfect time of year to start advertising this to your clients, because as they start looking into opting into FSA, HSA, they can start planning for next year. We did get a question about how frequency of payment. So if you bill bi-monthly or by 6-month periods, how does that all work with reimbursement? Are there any limitations there?
Yeah, so you can, this letter is good for 12 months. So someone can reimburse monthly if they would like to. They can wait until the end of the year and reimburse all at once. So as long as it's, again, after that date of that element, they can reimburse on whatever schedule they would like for whatever increments make sense to them and to you as a business.
Okay, I think that is all of the questions in our Q&A section. Let me just do one more quick check of chat. Yep, so I think we just answered Ken, your question there. And then Thomas, yes, this is recorded. I will be sending out a link to this recording. I know it was a lot of really good information. We'll be sending out a link via email where you can rewatch this, and it will also be posted to our YouTube channel. So yeah, any final questions before we go? Can we drop those links one more time? Looks like we need support at TrueMed. I got you there. And then this was the link to opt in. All right. Well, great, everybody. Thank you all so much. Looking forward to hear how this goes going into the new year. And thank you so much, Ben, for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.